no footage of this. No footage of this. This is very strange. Why would you not have footage, any footage of this man doing this? This is more so, again, to me, in my opinion, is biased into the narrative. Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
Understand that this, of course, is a very high-profile matter, and so I really appreciate the submissions that were made. We'll go ahead and start then with Ms. Sullivan. I assume you're representing Mr. Cohen. You have up to 5 minutes, and just to note, there is a handy traffic light there that will help you keep track of the time. All right, go right ahead.
Very helpful. Thank you, Director, for taking the time to hear our appeal. Good morning. I'm an attorney for CBS News, and I'm presenting this argument on behalf of Evan Cohen, an editor for CBS News, who is appealing the county's decision in this matter. You have the request and the procedural history before you, but the substance of the request is as follows. A copy of the surveillance video from the lobby of the Washington County Sheriff's Office in Hurricane, Utah from 6:00 p.m. Mountain Time on September 11th, 2025, to 1 a.m. Mountain Time on September 12th, 2025, in addition to any surveillance video of Tyler Robinson waiting with his parents and any interaction in the interrogation room. Washington County denied the request preliminarily and upheld that denial, stating that the release of the records could reasonably interfere with the ongoing investigation, could reasonably interfere with criminal enforcement proceedings and the criminal prosecution of the subject, and would endanger depriving the subject to a fair trial or impartial hearing. The Utah Supreme Court has held that courts revealing grammar requests should apply the legislature's clear and preeminent intent to favor public disclosure when countervailing interests are of equal weight. With regard to records that Mr. Cohen has requested, the public interest in disclosure outweighs any potential implications for the ongoing investigation of Mr. Robinson or his right to a fair trial. Significantly, on September 17th, 2025, Washington County Sheriff Nate Brooksby gave a public press conference during which he spoke at length about Mr. Robinson's time in the Washington County Sheriff's Office the night of September 11th, 2025. Sheriff Brooksby disclosed extensive details about Mr. Robinson's apparent frame of mind and body language that night, as well as how he and his parents were brought to the office, what they were provided with when they arrived, where they sat, and how lead investigators from Utah County arrived to take him into custody from the interrogation room where he was waiting with his parents. Examples of details provided by Sheriff Brooksby include the following. So, quote, part of the negotiation and getting him to bring himself in was that we would treat it as delicate and as soft as possible to make him feel comfortable, to where he would show up at my office, and that's exactly what happened. Basically, it was about 2.5 hours waiting in a room, not communicating with the suspect. End quote. Quote, we could facilitate a peaceful, calm, relaxed surrender, make him comfortable for a couple hours, make sure he has water, no communication until the lead investigators arrive, end quote. Stating about Mr. Robinson, quote, he was sitting on a very comfortable couch with a water bottle in his hand, not restrained. He was again cooperative, somber, quiet, end quote. There are many other examples from this press conference that are similar. Given Sheriff Brooksby's public descriptions of the specific people, areas, and times for which Mr. Cohen is requesting video footage, there is no discernible reason to withhold production of these records in order to protect either the ongoing investigation of Mr. Robinson or his right to a fair trial. Disclosure of these records would provide visual context to the already described conduct, apparent frame of mind, and body language of the suspect in a crime that continues to command national attention, as well as to how he surrendered to law enforcement and conducted himself with his parents while in custody. Again, also already described publicly.
But again, no footage of this. No footage of this. This is very strange. Why would you not have footage, any footage of this man doing this? This is more so, again, to me, in my opinion, this buys into the narrative of anybody believing that this was supposed to end with them unaliving Tyler Robinson, maybe in the shootout. This wasn't supposed to go this far. I don't think they prepped for things to go this far. So they're sort of just winging it, which is why there's no body cam footage to show, because they're building their case as they go, in my opinion, allegedly.
The public interest in disclosure of the records significantly exceeds the risk of any negative implications for the ongoing investigation or Mr. Robinson's right to a fair trial, and therefore the balance must weigh in favor of public disclosure. Even if not all relevant records can be released, there are at least some that qualify, given the many public disclosures by law enforcement. The law provides for records to be segregated to allow for the release of non-exempt material. That can certainly be done here. Disclosure of the footage would not compromise law enforcement's ability to pursue the case. Instead, it would reduce speculation, prevent the spread of misinformation, and ensure that the public receives an accurate understanding of the facts.
Bingo. Of course it would. That's what. And now we're hearing a legal professional say the very things that we've been saying. Of course it would. How could it make things worse for him? That doesn't even make sense. Before they was arguing it could hurt the prosecution. Now they're arguing that it could hurt Tyler Robinson. How?
In this way, release serves both the public interest and the integrity of the ongoing investigation. Thank you.
The integrity is in the trash.
Thank you. I did want to just throw out one quick question because I think probably other parties will want to address it as well, just for you, Ms. Sullivan. And that is, doesn't the extensive detail that was provided about, by the sheriff about the surrender kind of mitigate any need to release the actual video? I mean, you're arguing the other side, but I think it cuts both ways. What's your response to that?
Well, if I can let Mr. Cohen speak to that as well, about the advantages of seeing the visual record as well in order to inform the.
Yeah, hold on. Was that the judge suggesting that simply because they were told what happened, that should suffice and should not necessarily require them to have to actually see the very things happening on footage that is consistent with what they were verbally told? That's an absurd question, unless there's some sort of legal realm that I'm not understanding here. That's a ridiculous thing to ask, in my opinion. I felt like up until that ending part, I felt like she gave circular reasoning. We shouldn't release the body cam footage of him talking to officers because it's evidence that he's talking to officers, and that could be used in court. It could even hurt the defendant's case. How? We're still wanting to hear how you said because the judge could view this evidence as inadmissible. I'm still not understanding. This is, even if the public is not allowed to see it, why hasn't the defense been able to see it? They're a part of the trial, aren't they? CBS, these news and these media networks are typically allowed to see these sort of deals, even if they have to sign paperwork, something like an NDA, promising that they won't release the footage, promising that they won't reveal what they saw from the footage, but it adds credibility to the case. You're saying nobody can see it but the prosecution. That doesn't make sense.